What's up, guys? This is Dim, and today we're going to be doing a quick guide on how to make money with the profession Enchanting. In my opinion, Enchanting is actually one of the best professions in WoW right now to make quick gold with minimal effort. It doesn't require any sort of gathering profession, which I absolutely hate doing, and it does not require massive amounts of inventory space like something like Inscription does. It's very cut and dry in my opinion, and really simple to get to. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what we need. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is the add-on TradeSkillMaster, and you can find that on the Curse download or wherever you find your favorite WoW add-ons. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to do a quick scan of the auction house. Now you'll notice with TradeSkillMaster everything looks different because it did add a couple extra tabs. So we're going to go ahead and run a get all scan. And what this does is it quickly parses the entire contents of the auction house in the matter of a few seconds. Now, they do recommend this, and I recommend it as well, to immediately reload your interface with a /reload. Otherwise, you could run into some issues. So now you have a snap of the auction house in its current state on your server at that given time. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our Enchanting panel. And as you see here, TSM has reskinned everything. What I like to do on that right-hand column is I like to have it set to profit to make everything nice and visible in there. However, you can also see total crafting cost. Now, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to find something that's profitable based on percentages of crafting cost to auction final value. So as you can see here, the Colossus is not really worthwhile. It is a popular enchant. However, for 70 some gold, we're only going to make a 2 gold profit, which isn't worth the time or effort to do so, and you'll probably wind up losing money on it after you figure in auction house cuts. So what we're going to do is we simply go through each level of enchant and sort out. In my opinion, I like to stick with current content stuff only. You can delve down all the way into the lower content as well through your heart's desire, but the current content's what sells best, and we're talking about quick gold here. So what I like to do is I go through each one of the levels of content. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through each subcategory in Enchanting and add to a queue. Now I'm going to be adding 2 at a time because I like to have extras and I like to post 2 auctions at once. And there's stuff that I know already sells. And what we're really gearing for is the proper amount of profit to the crafting cost, like I had said. So we're going to do 2 copies of Windsong because those have already sold. And I'm just going to kind of go down the list and check off which ones I want to add to the queue based on my criteria that I just mentioned. That is current content with a good crafting to profit ratio. And we're going to do this for every one of the pieces of gear. And now keep in mind that this is a freshly boosted 90 that gave me the free 600 profession. So I do not have any vendor purchase recipes. So I don't have the top of the line weapon enchant and a couple other armor enchants. This is purely with what you get from a base boosted 60, or if you were to level this with Enchanting, just the base vendor trained recipes. So you do not need these special recipes to make money or gold. However, if you do obtain them, you will make even more gold because there's less people, and when the demand is there and there's no supply, you can get better profit out of this. And I do hope to get this eventually, but for the sake of the video, this is quick and easy gold. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm just simply adding stuff to a queue. And you'll see that on the lower right-hand corner of the screen, it's telling me the materials that I need. It's showing me the estimated cost and the estimated profit for the stuff that we're making. Now keep in mind, I do have some stuff stockpiled already on the auction house. So if you see when I mouse over, you'll see where it says Perk Bank Total Owned 2, and they're either in the auction house or in the mail. So I did have some of this already to go through, but just note, this is my daily routine now as far as what I do with Enchanting. So this is just kind of replenishing my stock, and this is what you guys are going to be doing to replenish your stock and make a ton of gold. Now, it's just click, click, click once you find the items. And it might take you a little while if you're new to enchants, to learn what enchants are worthwhile and which ones are not. But again, right now all we're doing is building a list, and you're going to see how TradeSkillMaster makes this so easy to complete. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so the list is complete, and I just wanted to show you real quickly about the user interface of TradeSkillMaster. It does take up a lot of space, and it will completely block your character and block other things on your UI. So you do need to kind of get that laid out properly. This is 1920 by 1080, so you do need to kind of figure out the way it would fit best on your screen, especially if you have a laptop screen. So anyhow, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and click the Gather button, which will help us put together the shopping list for what we need. As you see, we have a whole bunch of stuff here, so we need to get this all sorted out. So let's go ahead and hit Gather and Enchanting, and it'll show us that we have some stuff from the bank, we have some stuff from the vendor, and we have some stuff that we need to buy at the auction house to complete this this set of purchases and in this queue order. So we're going to go ahead and go to the auctioneer first, and what we're going to do is move the UI around, make sure that it's nice and visible so we can see everything that we're doing, and that way works best for me. And we're going to hit Gather Items, and it's going to start from the top, and this is going to now search for spirit dust. But what's cool about TSM is that it doesn't just search for spirit dust. What it does is it searches for spirit dust plus any item that is known to disenchant into spirit dust to make sure that we get the lowest price per item, which in this case is spirit dust, for our purchase. Now we're going to wait for that to finish, and it does take a little bit of time, especially with the white and green recipes, because so much stuff disenchants into it. So it's scanning all the current content stuff. Now, for the high level stuff, I found that the raw material is usually the cheapest, and in this case, this is the case. So we're going to go ahead and buy all the material, and as you see in the lower right hand corner, the spirit dust is now becoming accounted for just by simply clicking on it. And we're going to buy just enough for that. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to fast forward, because this is pretty much the same process all the way throughout. Now, the one thing to note is that mysterious essences, at least on my server, TSM detects that the ethereal shard shatter is actually cheaper. So what we're going to do is we're going to buy the ethereal shards, and we're going to shatter them down into the mysterious essences, because it is cheaper than buying the essences by themselves. And it's really cool because the add-on will tell you whether or not which one is cheaper or not. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through the rest of the auction purchase process, and I'll catch you in the next step. Alright, now that our shopping is complete, we're going to go head over to the mailbox and pick that up. And as you can tell with just about everything else with TSM, it has reskinned the mailbox as well. Again, I'm going to readjust the UI so I can see what's going on. And just remember, everything in the inbox is still accounted for with your normal UI interface. It just added a tab. But when you pull stuff out of here, it will add into your accounting TSM module, which I'll go over at another time, but essentially it'll track everything that you've spent and everything that you've earned to give you an idea for what you're truly making. So now that we gathered that, you'll see the next thing that we have with our gathering is we have to go to the bank, and we're going to pick up a couple of materials that we already have in our bank spot. And again, TSM will give you another overlay, and don't worry too much about the warehouse bank UI on the left hand side. At this point, all we need to do is just click Gather Items, and it will pick up what we had in our bank. So that pretty much just leaves the vendor material. So just like everything else, Gather will take care of this for us. So we're going to go ahead and fly over to the Enchanting vendor and get ourselves some vellum. And it will pick that up. And we're going to go ahead and buy the vendor items. And as you can see there, it bought 26 enchanted vellums, because that's how many things we're going to make. And this, what's cool about this is that it can scale. So if you're going to make 20 things or 100 things, the process really doesn't get much longer. It's just a matter of another click when you add to the queue. So we're going to go ahead and open up Enchanting, and you'll see that we have two different stages here. So the first thing is we're going to do the essence shatter. So we're breaking down the shards into mysterious essences to give us the needed materials. And then once that's complete, all you simply do is you start clicking down your list one by one. And this is a non-automatic process, so you do have to click each time. That was something that was changed, I believe, at the end of Lich King or during Cataclysm to make sure that this wasn't a bot-like behavior from Blizzard. And this was kind of the happy medium that they came along with, where they're fully on board with this because you are clicking one-to-one action. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish crafting. I'm going to speed it up, and we'll pick it up from the next step. Alright, so the next part is a little bit of good housekeeping. What I do is I actually created a mail profile that will mail all the crafted enchanting scrolls and mail it over to my bank alt. I don't like keeping my trade stuff on the same character as my main. I like to keep my bags clean and purposeful. So that just went ahead and mailed it over to my bank alt. And as you can see, I'm going to actually go back to the bank and drop off. We bought a couple extra shards and had one extra essence left over. So we're just going to go ahead and drop that into my bank. And we're all done on this character. Now all we have to do is go ahead and log into my bank alt, and I'll show you how we go ahead and post this. Okay, so now we're on my bank alt, and I'm going to go ahead and retrieve the mail that I crafted, that I sent to him. And you'll see that I also got a couple other auctions that were successful, so we'll just go ahead and grab everything. Again, we're going to use the TSM profile so everything gets logged, and it's also accounting for the money that we just earned via auctions. So you'll see that this guy right now has some inscriptions on him and some enchants on him, and also some jewel craft or some jewels on him. But to be honest with you, jewel crafting right now for this server for me is actually not the best, because I don't have a lot of the blue recipes learned, because you can only learn one a day. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to go to the Auction DB tab and hit Start Post Scan. So what it's doing is it's going through my bags and searching for everything that I have, be it the enchanting scrolls or the inscription scrolls, to see what we can post. And some of the stuff you see here, some of the glyphs are either already posted and I have extras of, or somebody just undercut them so much that my threshold just said it's not worth posting. But you'll notice that none of that is happening with the enchants, because we just took a current tally of the market, so everything is good to post. So all we have to do is just keep clicking post. Again, this is kind of like their anti-bot detection. So once you're done clicking, you have to wait for it to finish, and you see it on the bottom. And that's it. So we went ahead and we posted everything that we made. Those few that are left over are actually ones that we made more of than 2. So there you go. And you can see also on the top that we have about 13,000 gold worth of auctions and about 600 gold that's coming back to us. Now, since I told you that this is kind of mid-swing of my typical crafting day, I'm going to go ahead and do a cancel scan. And what this does is it takes all my current auctions and sees which ones have been undercut. And as you know, with the auction house, everybody wants to buy the cheapest one, and you don't want to get undercut. You don't want to be undercut and leave your auctions up there to rot, because nobody's going to buy it if there's somebody there cheaper than you. So typically, the crafters or the people that are doing posting are pretty friendly to each other about it. So the undercut is usually somewhere between a couple silver and maybe a gold. Very rarely do you get somebody that's just going to blow it out of the water, unless they're going to be, kind of trolly. So you'll see that You've Been Undercut is going to be part of the ones that we're going to be pulling out. Green is obviously still pretty good. So we're just going to wait for this scan to finish. And just like the post scan, all you have to do is just click cancel until the middle line is canceled, or the middle part on the bottom canceling is maxed out. Then we have to wait for the right part of the data to show that it has in fact confirmed been canceled, and we just wait. The server can only process so fast. And what you do now is you go back to your mailbox, and it is kind of a little bit of a game, because all your canceled mails are now waiting for you. and we we pull them back out so we can put them back on the auction house. So it's kind of like a just a revolving circuit, so to speak. And this is what you do now. This is kind of your maintenance of the stuff that you already have made. So you want to just keep pulling it off and putting it back on until it sells. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back and you're going to fill the stock that you've sold. It's really as simple as that. The market doesn't fluctuate all that much. The stuff that you make one day is probably going to be relevant for the onset. So you just keep adding to your collection as you sell, and it makes it pretty much cut and dry and super easy. And this was actually kind of a slowed down, oversimplified version of what I do with making gold. And I know that it shows that my character only has, I think, 11,000 gold on this character, and then my other guy had about 900. But on the server total, I have about 24,000. But to put this into perspective, I haven't really done anything crafting or any sort of gold on this server or on these characters, except for the last 3 days. So I earned pretty much most of that gold in the past 2 or 3 days, spending, let's say, an hour between all the professions. And I earned, let's say 12,000 gold doing it. Sure, you need to have a little bit of gold up front to get the recipes, or if you have multiple crafters, you can kind of have them all work together. But that's pretty much it. That is how you make a lot of gold with enchanting with a short amount of time. So this has been Dim. Thank you so much for watching. I will probably do the next video is going to be inscription because it's a lot of the same. It'll be a much shorter video. Just a little bit more organizational because there's a whole lot more items that you're dealing with. But this has been Dim. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I'll see you in Azeroth. Bye.